1 Victor Radio, I think. Victor Mike Again, I have very sorry, 5x7 with USB aware.
Oh, I just had to do a video on this bad boy. I've just picked this up recently, an Icom IC-706MkIIG. This radio is in absolutely immaculate condition. It's almost completely brand new. I got this from a deceased estate. Unfortunately, the amateur who owned this recently passed away. But when I heard that this radio was up for sale, I put in a bid for it and ended up getting it. Just to try and get around the back of the radio. It's in completely immaculate condition. And I got this for a couple of reasons. One is the nostalgic factor, but I had the 706 Mark IIG. It's probably my second ever radio, I think, HF radio. And I sold it, as most radios I sell and move on to the next one. But this was one of those radios where, I don't know, I had a real love affair with it. This has a remote head. I'm trying to do this one-handed. There we go. It has a remote head that you could detach. You have a cable which you could attach to the head here, and you could use this in a vehicle very easy. Great for mobile operation on HF. The Mark IIG came with 2 meters and 70 centimeters in it as well. I think it did 50 watts on 2 meters and 420 watts on 70 centimeters. And it was just a great radio. It also came with the AT180 antenna tuning unit. You think that, antenna tuners are, this is probably the size of a Zygu G90, I reckon. Well, this was the antenna tuner that came with it, because these don't have tuners in them. So quite a big tuning unit, the AT180. I've never used this before, I've never had one before, but it ended up coming with it. And I also got the desk mic here too. I don't have the hand mic, I think it's the HM103. So I need to try and source a hand mic for it. But this is going to be a bit of nostalgia pressing this power button. It's been quite a number of years, probably well over 15 years, I think, since I sold my last one. And I'm thinking of using this radio. I purchased it to use as an option for an HF radio in the vehicle. So, oh, look at that. Brand new. That green Icom screen. For those that have ever purchased one of these, they were very popular. Lots of these sold, these radios. Oh, I remember these menus now. Look at this. I can. That's muscle memory, I think, from being able to drive it. I worked a lot of DX on one of these. They worked really well. As part of the deal, I also got a AV1000 Avere power meter. So this will go up to 1.3 gigs. Yeah, 1.8 megs to 1.3 gigs. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use that for, if I have any use for it. And there was also this silver box, and I didn't know what was in this, and I opened it up, and it's a nice Morse paddle. This is a ZN-SL key, Morse key. Now, I know absolutely nothing about Morse keys, so those of you in the chat will probably be able to tell me if this is a rare Morse key or a good key. Certainly heavy, nice and heavy, nice desk key. I've got one of these keys which was from cwmorse.us. I was sort of doing some practice with that, but this feels quite nice. I'm just tapping that, I've got no idea. Should we, let's plug an antenna into this, see if we can hear anyone. Well, the noise floor's gone up. They also had the tuning knob on the side here. They had this little adjustable sort of, I don't know what this is, like a little trigger thing. So you could actually add extra tension onto the tuning knob. So there's No tension at all for fast scanning. Well, there's FT8, so it's receiving okay. I wonder if there's any SSB around. Let me know, guys, in the comments below if you ever had one of these, an IC-706. I'm really interested. I know the IC-7300 has sold over 100,000 units. I reckon this radio sold a lot of units back in the day. I wonder if Icom have any numbers on how many of these radios they actually sold. They were kind of popular in the 90s and the early 2000s. So they were a real popular radio, I know, around here. Definitely in VK, there was a lot of IC-706s. They had the 706, then they had the Mark 1. Then I think somewhere along the line, the 706 only had, I think it had HF and then I think the next model had HF and 2 meters, and then eventually they added 70 centimeters in as well. I might be wrong on that, but they are a lovely radio. Great for HF. Obviously, you know, going back, they don't really have like they've got a band scope. They don't really have a waterfall. They're a lovely radio, and just nostalgia's just bringing me back. I remember working lots of DX on 10 meters especially, and on 20 as well. And goodness me, my noise level on 40 meters is quite high today. But yeah, just a great radio. Very popular for those who use them in the vehicle. So bit of nostalgia there. So I'm not quite sure if I'll keep the tuner and the SWR meter or the CW key, but I do have a plan for the radio at least, and I'm very happy to be able to continue on and use this radio here in the shack or in the car, depending on where it goes.